Hello and welcome, I'm JD, and today we are going to observe a 4v4 match on Honeycomb, I believe it is. So we're on a bit of a different map today. This is Honeycomb. It looks, now I haven't personally played this one, so it looks like we've got 5 points. One on the top, one down the bottom, and then one at either end and a little bit down here. What we're just talking about here is there was a last game where, and I'll end up putting on the channel if I haven't already, but we were winning, I think, on points, and then I got kicked out of the game. So I don't know what was happening there, but it looks like, yeah, we lost, so, oh well. As you can see, we've got, I think it's the Alliance in blue and the OSP in orange. We've got a bit of a top cover utilizing points here. Looks like a bit of a top cover. Got some plates as well blocking the sides of the map as well. So the radar and detection game is going to need to be strong for both teams on this one. All right, so yes, Alliance blue. We've got the boss down here. He's got Mark 65 cannons, so 250mm cannons and missiles with an escort frigate here. By the looks of it, either probably being a spyglass frigate. I can actually check now. Yep, it's a spyglass frigate with 2 defenders. Desert Fox running a missile size 3 hybrid or torpedo. A light cruiser with a bit of a scouting ship here. Also likely a spyglass frontline with a scryer. Max, railgun and 450 and a supporting 250mm light cruiser with missiles. And then we've got Cian here with two 450mm light cruisers. So they've deployed on the right-hand side with the opening movements, looking like we've got Max and Desert Fox moving around to D. Looks like we'll have the boss here taking A as he moves through, and then moving around to point B, being the two 450mm heavy cruisers, which is quite a formidable, it's still quite a formidable opponent. Over on the other side, we've got a lot of line cruisers here. Let's see if I can get in. So we've got a missile cruiser from Boharan, as well as a small little point defense escort ship as well, with an illuminator. Bushka, 450mm casemates on one. Can't tell what this one's got. With a Bloodhound radar and a Dazzler on this one. Interesting build. And then more 450mm there. Pause there for a sec just to see the 450mm. We'll pause there just as we see some mine containers being launched out. 1, 2, 3. I think that's about 9 to 15 container mines. So he's going to pre-position those on point E. By the time the 2 heavy cruisers make it there, these should have deployed and activated either before they get in there, or before before they get there, I guess you could say. There you go. You got some Matic mines deploying. Sorry, there's 2 per each. 4. Not bad. So if he moves in there after he caps, could be a little bit dangerous. Rear, as looks like he's got the mighty rocket shuttle, so we'll keep an eye on them throughout the game. Yeah, he's just bringing all rocket shuttles, so it's either high risk, high reward. And then TA 200, he's got the TE-45 TE-45. Yeah, that's right. Mass drivers. So 2 mass driver ships, and then supported with 1 Bloodhound LRT radar for precision spotting, an early warning radar for wide range spotting, and then just a little shuttle to cap things as well. So we can see TA looking up the top here. He's looking straight through, not detecting anything. It's great that we can sort of see these ranges at the moment. The only thing that is detected from the Alliance is Max's light cruiser, and the OSP is basically undetected here. So he's moving in, already starting to cap B. Is taking a... Sorry, capping B. He's nowhere near it there. The tier just taking the 450mm shots here. Doesn't look like he's able to move too far off the mark. He took some internal damage initially. Definitely he took a hit to the magazine. He's got an atmospheric leak there. But he is now countering with some missiles. And let's just zoom in on that. Some size 2 missiles. It's hard to tell these days what they actually are inside. We don't get access to that. But this will be the first test here for Bushka. So the Clipper Swarm has started to secure B, or is almost finished securing B. You can see the defenders here having a good crack. Looks like 2 missile hits. Some follow-up missiles also making it through. 1, 2, 3, and then he took another one down on chest worst. All it took out was flak, a radar at the bottom, but he did get the CIC and a magazine. So with enough restores, he will be able to bring that back online. But the 450s are putting out another round of another salvo, although they are missing tier at this distance. Now we saw the 2 heavy cruisers have moved over to point E. There is now a number of different mines. We can see that they potentially have spotted them. No, they haven't spotted them. So once he moves off E and moves through, he'll have to start dealing with these. But it looks like they did clear off the ones that they saw there. Atlas capped here by the heavy cruiser. A safe or in a natural position there for the Alliance.
The enemy is securing zone eclipse.
Defenders are one of the and the OSP equivalent, one of the nicer visuals in the game, I think. Tracking logic, you can see, has definitely been updated between the mix of the 50mm, providing a little bit of an explosive area coverage, and then the point defense being able to, from the Pavis, being able to then actually just mop those up. Looks like some actual container missiles have been launched. Anti-missile missiles launched as in response. Waypointing around. You can see some more anti-missile missiles, a mix of 250mm flak as well. They are getting through. There's at least... Whoop, so he's got that. Only got 2 left. This one doesn't look like it's activated, but will this one make it? Yeah, okay, so he's taken a hit. 2 of the Mark 64s and 2 defenders have gone down.
The enemy secured zone combat.
Game is at the moment in the OSP favor, 30 to 22, 2 pieces each. So E now taken, whereas E... The Clippers took the B. E was taken over by the 2 heavy cruisers, and we're now seeing the tier has gone down. That's reading as destroyed. To zoom in on it. Mans disable. He's got no restores. Yep, and you can see the death cloud there. Massive rocket swarm being fired from the Clippers. Now, even with the 250mm flak and some of the from the stone walls, this has been crippling to the first heavy cruiser here. You can see that on the damage control board, got some critical events on the magazine. Magazine cook-off underway. Second round of missiles also, or rockets I should say, also coming in. Looks like all that they're doing from rear is actually just focusing on this first one. The 200, the RPF there from the 250s. Looks like they've got one. Yep, so took out one there. Another one's been destroyed back here, but also been with its drives disabled. Probably can come back. And I'm just looking for where the 250 is. Okay, so he's got one 450 and one 250. Interesting build. I actually think that's pretty good. You can see that the 250s are actually doing a fair amount of damage. In this sort of tough scenarios, trying to put your bow straight on can open up the angles for these other ones. For the point defense on the sides, I should say. But, you know, it can also be hard to do. So if you're already working and you got your firing solution, like he has the 250s here, sometimes it's better just to stay there. Another round of rockets. These ones, they are looking at less accurate. Yeah, so they're just sliding underneath. You can see that he's moving up and away. It's making it very hard for the rockets or the piranhas to actually get that good track. Remember, they are dumbfired, so they don't have any seekers. We're having Rhea is either clicking on them or he's trying to guess where these are going, and then he's launching. Good use of cover, making getting behind the terrain so that he's protected from the 250mm. And I think Scene here, sorry mate if I'm saying your name wrong, is doing a good defense. Don't get distracted. Remember that you've still got something else out to get out on the other side. Rockets from the second group also coming in, and we've got some missiles hitting line ships over on the other side. But I'm going to come back here, because I think this is potentially more interesting. So it looks like these ones are going to be off, and it looks like these ones are also going to be off. But with the sheer volume that's being able to put out, I think each of them is able to take 36 rockets. Each clip can take 36 rockets across two R18s. So you're bound to get something eventually. Clark and defenders are doing a really good job here, and good movement. You can see that Rhea is actually splitting the attention there as well. He's forcing decisions from the bottom and from the top. Over on the other side, the Lottie was taking out. That was actually one of the gunships. So that's gone. Chestworst looks like it's still moving to target. But then you've got this other ship, which it looks like it's being used just as electronic warfare support. Just being maintained behind. More missiles still. 250mm in response. You can see that it's hitting the drives and knocked out the drive. So in three rounds of RPF, or 250mm RPF, it's knocked out the drives, and that's going to effectively not render it useless, but really degrade what it can do, because it now can't bring its R18s onto target. We've got the weird cylindrical bug occurring. Got some hybrids out as well, but looks like they've missed. Spotting tug, providing early warning radar, or early warning through radar. He's up the top. No one's gone for D yet. Just looking for D. It's around. So D's down here. Tier wasn't able to get in there. Desert Fox still has a fair load of missiles, and he can do some good damage with that. So he'll pop out. No doubt get some of those missiles on target. Mass drivers here moving into position. Now, one of the things that I've learnt playing with the line ships is that they turn so slowly, and that is such a difference if you are not used to playing them. That positioning is really highlighted with the line ships. You have to get them absolutely, sort of pre-positioned. If you get caught out or flanked, it's get caught out or flanked, it's just not going to be able to respond rapidly unless you have the turrets on it. So here you can see Desert Fox just down on the other side. Missiles being fired here from here. Just looks like a normal Thunderhead. Now, if I click out, I should be able to... No. So only players can... if you're on the open map, you can actually click on your missile and it'll show you the Seeker's behavior. So I can't do that because I'm just a spectator, but it would be cool. Now, this is either a missile to do damage if it's within range, or it's simply scouting. Mines put around point E and then point D and through the center. Here we go, arcing around. That one's gone. So a good missile, but the target has already died. And let's just check in. We've got some box missiles being fired. We'll track them in, but just having a look, the stone walls look like they were taken out, so the point defense, rightly prioritizing those against the rockets, some ammunition elevators, and adaptive radar receivers. Also knocked out, but basically this is still a functioning ship. Mass drivers, as you saw just before as we were on the DC board, still now or starting to come down and shoot, so they're going to seek cover. He's able to hold this side now, I think, and this other one, absolutely fine. A little bit of damage, but basically in the grand scheme of things, absolutely fine. So, containers. That's a pretty cool shot. Flying out of the sun to do damage. FedEx Express. And here they go. Anti-missile missiles being fired in response from Desert Fox. Let's check how many he actually has. Ballisters, he's still got 4 more. It looks like they've been able to negate a fair amount. I don't know what type of missiles or seekers these are. But he is dodging. It's taken a hit on the drives. That one looks like maybe it's hit max range. You can see that the rest of the containers here now are also trying to, or coming out, I should say. Like there's just a wave of missiles, or cargo containers, I should say. Atmosphere or reactor leak there. Got our first sort of firing duel. Up to this point, it's been rockets and missiles against each other. We got 450mm and a railgun from the cheap can. The railgun's reloading. 2 railguns reloading. The Mark 68 is reloading and firing. It is within range. But he's also taking on 4 450mm C65s, which can put out a fair amount of damage. So he'll be able to cause a fair amount of debuffs with the Mark 81 railguns, just because they now do 100% debuffs every time they hit. However, they do still suffer from the fact that there's only 2 rounds compared to like the 60 shots or the 48 shots that'll come out of there. The Haku are not surviving, unfortunately. It's just caught out in the open by the box containers. D still uncontested. Potentially an opportunity for the Scarf here, which has a bullseye and a pinard. If something can get to D, it is ultimately... Let me just bring the camera down. Undefended by mines. So anyone can cap D. It is a free game. Spyglass frigate now moving around to also identify Let's just see a little bit of a trail there. See a little bit of trails on all of them, actually. Oh, they're retreating. Oh, okay. You don't see that often. I've never seen a player do it in a game, but if they're out of rockets, then you may want to retreat them. Generally, you keep them on the field, try and cap some more points, or just be a nuisance. The enemy doesn't know if you're ever out, but it's a cool sort of visual.
Securing zone common.
Common's being taken back, so also saying D could be taken. The Scarf from Desert Fox has been able to slip into C. Now he is undetected, so unless they flash a light or something over here, it's going to be okay. That's what we're talking about with the C65s, the 450mm casemates. They're just able to put out a fair amount of damage. And with the slow-moving nature of a heavy cruiser, it can be a little bit hard once you've moved out to move back in. Rightly so. Cheap Can's moving back into cover. Didn't take too much. He lost a Pinard, which was mounted. Where's the Pinard? On the side, I would assume. So even though he did take a fair amount of hits, apart from the berthing and the Pinard, he hasn't really lost anything. He's fully functional. He's still good to go, I think.
The enemy secured zone common.
So with the zone common, apologies. That's now 3-1 in the Alliance's favor. D still uncapped. However, looks like with the Clippers now retreating and a bit of force stacking now on the right hand side, you've got the 450mm. The 250mm gun with missiles. So we still have a number of missiles left. Cyclones and Thunderheads. They potentially are just generic missiles that you can operate with. And then he's got the 2 heavy cruisers also being supported with the 450s and the 250s. So not much else. But this side here is now becoming, or has the ability to become quite strong. Rockets just going a little bit wide there. They are going to have to clear these minefields. I haven't played with cargo containers yet, so you can see there the rapid shift. That's something different, or that came with the OSP update. You no longer have to wait for one target to fully be destroyed, particularly, and you don't have to wait for the frame. It used to be like every quarter frame on the frame it would, every quarter second or half second, every quarter second or full second it would require you to allow you to retarget something. You don't have that anymore, so you should be able to effectively switch targets with point defense a lot quicker. Munin up here doing very well, finding a nice little gap in the terrain to look through. It's got eyes down on the fleet moving around on the left-hand side of the map. Likewise, the Paw here is also being able to shine his spotlight through the illuminator. So we could be saying that the longbows are, I think it's SAR. I think they're the SAR ones. Basically, they require an illumination or something to guide them. Aurora's not as effective against containers now. It's why defenders have really come into their own. Flak themselves also not great, but in this context, there's a lot of them, so all good. Bit of evasive maneuvers, has been able to dodge, and I think that's also partly because the Paw using this train here would have distracted the illumination. It's either the amount of mass drivers being fired out. Mass drivers are completely different to railguns. Operate more of like a peachy weapon that'll go up to 30 meters and explode, damaging components around it. As you can see, as they've taken a little bit of damage on the front, it can punch through the armor, then it'll be able to go a lot further through. Illuminator back on. But it's going to be, these two ships are going to be safely behind the asteroid. They're going to be fine, I think. Right, so if that illuminator is what is guiding this, then the illuminators are not staying on long enough for the missiles to be actually able to pick up that illuminator and guide to target. Couple going wide. Missiles being fired out. And we got some cyclones. We'll see if these can breach the point defense of these line ships. From memory, they didn't have a huge amount, but they are streaking pretty far. You see some chaff being thrown out. Whole bunch of 20 millimeters. Corkscrews are getting through it. So 2 hits onto this container ship. The Odin, however, doesn't look like it's actually taken too much damage from that. Just the rapid cycle cradle is the only thing. It's 1 debuff on that, which is a fire. Otherwise, they look fine. So maybe that's an armor penetration thing there. It's a bit hard to say without fully knowing what was inside. Cheap gun taking a little bit of damage. The box missiles here are going to probably destroy this. He probably didn't need to keep charging forward. And he's activated a mine, so he can see a mine coming in. And if he keeps going forward, he's going to engage the rest of the mine. No, he's not. He died there. He probably didn't need to go forward. He could have probably come off to D and scooped around on this side, fought these other ones, or just pulled back. I know for me, I always want to be doing something or feel like I need to be doing something. And I think that sometimes forces me to make plays that I don't think I should have to do. It's more than okay to simply pull back with a lead and just wait. Let the enemy make a decision. Because what the Alliance is facing here, right, is long range. They've got the C-65s from Chessworth. And Desert Fox may be able to do something with that one. Oh, it looks like it's been clipped and it's dead. So the Alliance is facing 450 millimeter guns from Chessworth. It's also got 2 mass drivers that are firing down, and then it's also dealing with containers. So they're all long range weapons, where you've probably got more medium to long range weapons with the Alliance, but they've got they're going to be outranged and effectively through the mass drivers and through the containers. So they need to make use of their strengths, which I think at the moment is their armor, and also a bit of their maneuverability. So these 2 ships here in particular, they're going to be able to outmaneuver the C-65s, and if they make good use of terrain, then they're going to be able to avoid the mass drivers. We've already seen that they're able to deal with the rockets. They should also be able to deal with containers. Still a number of missiles to be fired, so I think they can have up to 13 missile programming channels on a heavy cruiser, which looks like he's got 1 array there. Maybe he's got 3 or 4 that he can fire at once. Has found a clipper. If you could get 250s out there, that would be able to destroy it. These things can be annoying to get around at the end. Although Illuminator on. So if we have a look here, the Illuminator is halfway down before the missiles were fired. So if you were, if you're playing with these types of missile seekers, you actually want to turn the missiles on. You probably want to turn the Illuminator on about now, so it has its longest duration when your missiles are about halfway in flight. And I think what's going to happen here is they're going to turn off, and these are going to lose their track of where they actually need to go, and they may not do as much damage. Now, again, I'm assuming what seeker that they are. It looks like it was at least 2 hits there onto the Masu. See that the VLS-23 was destroyed. You can also see he's now got a number of debuffs. Got some fires. He's got an atmosphere leak in the DC locker. He's got his work speed down from a fire, another fire, and another atmosphere leak up the top. All the drives reactors are just taking hits there. So in the rear part, he's just going to now be stacked with debuffs, which is unfortunate because that ship was doing super well. Still 3 restores, maybe able to bring him back online, bringing the drives and the power back. If he can get into cover anywhere, I think that'll help. 652 to 516, so it's still in the Alliance favor. Ships are probably more maneuverable on the Alliance side, but there are more numerous on the OSP side at this point. Like another Matic mine has been activated. Just coming underneath. The 450s, unfortunately, are not gonna... Ooh, always bright. 450s are probably not gonna be getting the clipper. Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, as I say it happens, but they are a lot more speedier. It's a long time to travel with that sort of muzzle velocity of the 450s. A little bit exposed. Mass drivers are now hitting into the fib. Cyclones coming out in response. Now the Huggen here is a little bit further forward and doesn't really have any point defense, so it may actually die here because the line ship's behind it. Nope, must have gone straight for the line ship. So still providing its track forward for the accuracy of the mass drivers. If this can be taken out, will make it a little bit of a reprieve, I think. Fair amount of defenders. I gotta remember what the OSP equivalent is. Pavis 20 mils are not really doing too much damage, but a lot of cyclones. So no point defense firing on the gun gear. All of the targets masked by hull. But more and more are getting through. Okay, so the mass drivers now have been a hit. There's fires, ammunition loaded jams, fires. So a lot of damage for not too many damage control teams. And likewise over here, why was this one not firing? What's going on here? Why is this one not engaging its point defense? So it is now, but it wasn't before. The Cyclones are making it certainly a lot harder. A couple missed there, but he may actually be able to outpace him. So let's check how many missiles he's got. He's got about 50 missiles left. Chaff looks like it's seducing a few of those targets. Are they coming back around? No. And just being finished off with Thunderheads now on the Odin. Command disabled, just drives disabled, lots of fires. This will probably with all the restores gone, it's probably dead soon. In response, the Mania has fallen, unfortunately. Just caught out in the open, hit by all those containers. It wasn't able to repair. So 3 ships left on the Alliance side. Still quite a few left on the OSP, but Alliance still maintaining their lead. Mass drivers targeting the Mania. Masso using it as cover. Huggen still here, nice and forward. You can see that it's not being detected, unlike the other line ship here, and that's likely because its mass drivers are firing, and it's being able to, and its seated size is expanding, so every time it fires, it becomes more detectable. C-65 casemates now getting some frontal shots here onto the Masso. Right down through the top. It's getting some hits on the C-64, C-65, C-65. Looks like it's hit one of the reactors, knocked out another. Got some DC that's been knocked out. Still one restore in there. And coming into that minefield now. So the Matic mines starting to engage, coming through. Just adding that little bit of extra damage, taking out all the reactors and whatnot there. It's the last one for Xi'an, unfortunately. That leaves the boss against basically 3 players here. Still 64 containers left. And they're being ejected now.
The enemy secured Zone Atlas.
Atlas, Echo almost taken. Still in the lead, but won't be for long. Illuminator about halfway on, so a good timing on that. However, it has taken a little bit of hit at the front, just a berthing in a magazine. That means it's not going to have any point defense ammunition for the next salvo, which I imagine are coming. Yes, they are. So 3, 2, 3. Like deploying like little drop pods. Up they come, and that could be the icing on the cake for Icing Steep. Trails of Doom. Explosions rocking it hard. 1 left. Still a few missiles to go for the boss. Bit of a summary. This one's still alive, even though still a fair amount of like this one's not dead, but you can see that its CIC somewhere is still. Where is its CIC? Yes, its CIC still's fine. 824, 785, 5 points. They're getting 10 points every couple seconds. I think that is the game on Honeycomb. The boss realizes he's the last one. He's going for it. And we'll see what he can kill within 150 points time. Overall, I think this was a pretty good game. I think it could have ultimately gone either way. I really liked the push from the heavy cruisers over on Point E, and the fact that they were able to counter the rockets that were fired at them. That is a stressful occurrence for a player to deal with that many rockets, but I think he handled it very, very well. And as a result, you know, I think they held E for a long time. some small ships up at point C. You can see that there's, in terms of numbers, there's only 8 compared to, well, you know, quite a lot more. Some smaller ships may have been able to capture these other points. Point D in particular stood uncaptured for a long time, and I think that would have, if they'd captured, the Alliance had captured point D early on in the game, then they would have actually been very, very close. And they don't need to wouldn't have actually had to push through the middle from the heavy cruiser here and from the 2 heavy cruisers there. And that could be all she wrote. $9.44, 50 to go. Working to bring DC and the CIC back online. And he's walked into a minefield. Aurora's not being able to deal with it. Is there 2 more activating? Nope, just the one. 450 millimeters here from the line ship. Putting another series of holes in. That's it. That's game. That last salvo was all it needed to take it out. All right, still a very close game. Like I said, I think winnable by either side. I hope you enjoyed the spectator cast. Hopefully we could do some more as time goes on, or in the future, as you could also say it. I'm a little bit rusty, but we'll get back there, and I'll also learn the OSP names so that I can refer to them a little bit more. All right, thanks for watching.